Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of Time for God. And many of you may realise that this is a recorded one for you, but nevertheless the message is surely just about the same. In recent days I've been thinking that there comes a time that, even the best among us admit that there isn't any road left to travel through life. There is no more journey to be had when we reach that destination and we know where we are and what we've achieved, and perhaps we've achieved much of what we aim to do. And yet when we come to the end of that journey, it happens in a net instant, and suddenly it's staring you in the face, in the here and now, and it's very much now. This moment. For some it's a welcoming conclusion to an experience, whilst for others the end of that journey is not so welcome. It raises a whole plethora of questions. What now? What happens next? When the journey we've walked through a period of years comes to an end, there can be an extreme sense of panic, anxiety and fear, and uncertainty as to what the future pathway through whatever years lie ahead of us holds for us. And it can be quite scary. Jesus must have felt like that, if not experienced all those emotions for himself, the anxiety and the concern and the worry and the fear. And I'm sure that through his life and ministry here on earth, Jesus felt them so deeply, maybe it's more than we do. You see, from his birth into his adolescent years, he had been on a journey of learning, a journey of discovery and exploration. He had seen the world around him through a different set of eyes and mindsets. Firstly, as a mortal, the son of a lowly carpenter, and again as the divine, God incarnate, God in human form, God in his earthly presentation. And in those final 3 years of his time here with us on earth, there were challenges to both his humanity and his divinity. His journey was now directed by his Father, who had sent him as redemption and salvation to and from the world. A mammoth task, one would say, but not in the human lifetime in which to fulfill that. You see, Jesus had only 3 years, roughly the same time as Major Marjorie and I have been here in Swadlincote. 3 years to save the world from itself, from its sin, from its depraved and self-manufactured destiny. Now okay, Major Marjorie and I are at a slight disadvantage. We are, when all's said and done, just human. But there are 2 of us. In 3 years and a bit, we have achieved much with so much more that can be done. But Jesus and his divinity was part of the 3 in 1. And he had the whole world with which to achieve the almighty will of his Father, a mighty task in itself. Oh, how he must have spun through that whole whirlwind of emotions as he saw the world around him unfolding in all its depravity and sometimes its glory. Anger, when the recipients of his healings didn't even have the good manners to say thank you. Desperation, after a hard day's preaching, teaching and healing, and he must have asked himself many a time, was it all worth it? Would these earthly sinners ever get it? Could he put it differently? And when he was tired and drained from the activities of the day and someone called and asked for help, how would he react? We all, as we can see, feel the confusion and dismay when a journey comes to a conclusion. But thankfully, none of our journeys here will end with us being nailed to a cross, spat at, mocked, scorned, and ridiculed, even if sometimes we feel that that is what is happening to us. We hear and maybe understand the cry of Jesus to his Father from the cross. My God, why have you forsaken me? And then that final focus on the reality, on the words, it is finished. You see, Jesus knew what lay ahead of him at the end of his earthly life and at the end of his ministry. And while we often don't know what comes at the end of an experience, we can trust in the assurance of more words from Jesus when he tells us that he will be with us, even till the end of time. Whose time? Is it my time? No, I believe it's God's time. And that, my friends, we know through faith is an everlasting time, a time without end, ever and ever. For Christians, there is one certainty of which we can be sure about. We can be certain of what will happen at the end of this earthly journey, for Jesus promises. As we leave this world and time, we go to be with God, and we will share in the eternal and everlasting kingdom. We shall spend eternity without pain, without tears and suffering, and maybe for some, more importantly, without taxes. We shall be spared all the trials and tributes of this world and revel with the angels in the glory of God. We shall look straight into the eyes of Jesus, straight into the eyes of him who loved us. And he will hopefully say to us, well done, true and faithful servant. Then maybe Jesus will add for us, it is finished. It's all done. At the end of this road, just beyond the horizon, another road begins, one which takes us over the river, bringing us to the footstool at the throne of heaven. Let me end my time together with a short verse by Mendelssohn Cartwright entitled, I'm there if you need me. I can't pretend I know what you're going through, and it would be so easy to be very glib. But I'm sure you know I mean what I say when I do say I am thinking of you. I am here any time you need me. If you need a shoulder to cry on, or someone to hug, hold you close. Maybe just run an errand, speak a prayer, or help in any other way. Whatever it may be, please don't ever think that no one cares. Don't ever think you walk alone. And who knows, one day I may need you. So please let me know if I can be of any help to you at any time. My friends, God cares for you, and so do I. Thank you for sharing, and until we meet again, may God continue to pour out his blessings on you and those you love. We'll be back on Sunday where Major Marjorie will lead us in our worship. Join us once again here on Facebook Live on Sunday at 5 p.m. when our service will be broadcast straight from the Citadel of the Salvation Army in Swadlincote.